Hello everyone. Today is the year 2026, month of June, day 5, and it is a beautiful Friday. I am here to introduce a trending article from the archives, just for you all tuning in today. The title is Gauss Circle Problem with Geometric Convolutions for Synthesizing High-Dimensional Image Source Room Impulse Responses. The quote is Strats Oxy Avoid Bab C 606.4358. It is long. Just reading that title makes me want to take a nap. But the content is actually super fascinating. Alright? I should probably explain what all those big words mean. I was just sitting in my living room the other day, staring at the ceiling, and wondering how the sound of my voice bounces around the room. It is one of those things you never think about, until you really think about it. So, let's dive right into this paper. They explore the magical world of digital audio effects. The problem this paper is trying to solve is actually a classic issue in audio engineering. When you want to simulate how sound behaves in a room, you typically use something called the image source model. Imagine you are standing in a rectangular room. You clap your hands. The sound waves travel outwards, hit the walls, and bounce back to your ears. The image source model figures out all those reflections. By treating the walls like acoustic mirrors, it calculates virtual sound sources, as if the sound is coming from behind the wall. It is a brilliant concept, but there is a massive catch. If you want to calculate the reverberation tail, which is that lingering sound after the initial clap, you have to calculate thousands and thousands of reflections. For a standard three-dimensional room, the computational cost grows polynomially. It basically beats up all your computer processing power, making it incredibly slow and expensive. And if you dare to simulate rooms with more than 3 dimensions, well, your computer might just burst into flames. Here's a joke for you. Simulating high-dimensional acoustics is like trying to count the seeds in a house-for watermelon. I'll write him a monorail made of geometric and convolutions. I do not know what that means either, but it sounds mathematically delicious. Anyway, the author of this paper, Yuancheng Luo, came up with an absolutely brilliant alternative computational method. Instead of calculating every single image source directly, he connected the problem to a classic mathematical puzzle, known as the Gauss Circle Problem. The Gauss Circle Problem is basically about counting the number of integer lattice points that fit inside a circle of a certain radius. By translating the image source model into this lattice counting framework, the author managed to completely bypass the exponential growth in computation, use recurrence relations, and something called the geometric convolution operator. Through the magic of Fast Fourier Transforms, he lowered the asymptotic compute bound drastically. We are talking about going from an unmanageable polynomial cost to something that grows linearly with the number of dimensions. This means you can calculate incredibly dense, high-order reflections in a fraction of a second. So, how does this compare to other technologies out there? Traditional image source models usually just give up on a late reverberation tail because it is too hard to compute. Instead, people use hybrid models with feedback delay networks to fake the dense reverberation. But those artificial networks often sound colored or unnatural if they are not perfectly tuned. On the other hand, we have finite difference time domain meshes, which simulate the actual acoustic waves. Those sound amazing and reduce coloration. This new Gauss circle lattice method hits the perfect sweet spot. It gives you the mathematical accuracy of the image source model, a high modal density that makes reverberation sound natural, and a computation time that is shockingly fast. It even captures the statistical properties of real-world reverberation, but its echo density naturally approaches a Gaussian distribution. Now, you might be wondering, how does this apply to everyday life? Let me give you 3 specific application examples. To show you just how impactful this could be, let us talk about virtual reality and augmented reality. When you put on a virtual reality headset, you expect to be transported to, but if the visual graphics look like a massive cathedral, and the audio sounds like you are trapped in a tiny bathroom, the illusion is completely ruined. with this new technology. Developers can calculate highly accurate room impulse responses on the fly, as you walk through complex virtual spaces. The acoustic reflections can update seamlessly, providing a truly immersive auditory experience. The incredibly low computation cost means this could run on consumer hardware without draining the battery or causing the frame rate to drop. Second, this is a game changer for architectural acoustics and building design. Imagine an architect is designing a new concert hall or a high-end recording studio. They need to know exactly how sound will behave in that space before they even pour the concrete. By using this advanced image source model, they can simulate the precise reverberation characteristics of the room. The paper even details how to incorporate complex reflection coefficients. If you want to know the difference between wood panels and velvet curtains, the simulation can tell you perfectly. Architects can tweak the dimensions and materials in real time. This technology could revolutionize music production and audio plugins. Music producers are always looking for new and interesting reverberation effects to make their tracks sound massive and atmospheric. Usually, algorithmic reverberation rely on those feedback delay networks we mentioned earlier. But with this high-dimensional Gauss Circle approach, plugin developers could offer a true physical modeling of impossible spaces. You could run your vocals through a mathematically perfect 5-dimensional room because the algorithm is so efficient. Would it not overload the digital audio workstation? Producers could generate incredibly dense, lush reverberation tails that sound completely natural, free of the metallic ringing that plagues cheaper plugins. And let us dig a bit deeper into how they actually pull this off, because the math is just too cool to gloss over. You often notice that integrating image source contributions across a room can actually be separated across successive dimensions. These spit tiles in a radius over integral multiples of the sampling distance. You can find a number of image sources within a specific time interval. They created a lookup table to store the volume functions, which saves a ton of repetitive calculation. But the really clever part is the coordinate scaling. When you are looking at very short distances, the grid resolution of the integers can cause some rounding errors. To fix this, we'll also found that scaling coordinates up by a certain factor increases the distance resolution of the lookup table retroactively. You get way more accuracy at larger distances without completely destroying your memory limits. We also developed 2 different ways to reconstruct the room impulse response from these volume functions. There is a forward construction method, which uses simple finite differences, but it can introduce some aliasing in the frequency spectrum. Then there's the inverse construction method, which integrates the same kernel for the derivative of the volume function. This inverse method is fantastic because it eliminates kinesing and accurately places the sound imagery exactly where the image sources are. It handles the increasing density of the image sources perfectly, giving you that smooth, natural-sounding reverberation tail. They even tested what happens when you go into super high dimension, like a 6-dimensional space. Interestingly, if the walls only have positive resistive reflection coefficients, the echo density grows too fast and exceeds the natural Gaussian distribution. But the author accounted for this by introducing complex impedances, like phase-inverted reflection coefficients. You mix those in, the reverberation tail settles beautifully into the expected statistical density. It is just a brilliant piece of engineering from top to bottom. I hope you found this deep dive as fascinating as I did. The world of digital audio effects is always evolving, and it is mathematical breakthroughs like pave the way for the next generation in immersive sound. It is amazing how a classic math problem about counting dots in a circle can end up making our virtual reality game sound better. That is all for today. Thanks for hanging out with me on the radio. Catch you next time.